Creative Katie here. Welcome to my version of the Index Card a Day Challenge and my Create Daily series. I'm going to create this iCAD, which is totally off prompt, and I'm going to use this collage paper, and that's the technique, using collage papers or gel prints.
So this video is a request from my Facebook group. I've been making collage papers, backgrounds, and having a collage paper colored challenge on my channel. And just a few days ago, we created that collage paper. We've created this one, and a variety of other collage papers. So the question that came to me from the group was, what do you do with them? So the collage paper is simply, it could be just a background, but a collage paper is made, it's not in your art journal page, it's on a loose sheet, which gives you options. Now you can use it as the background. So basically here, when I've gel printed on here and then I've stenciled and stamped on this, this is simply a collage paper that is a background. So you can use any of these as a background. But you can also use these items as elements to create your focal point. So what I've done with some of my prints is I have taken a picture of them, and then I've scanned it, or sent it directly as a photo to my printer, and I've printed out a copy. So I can have multiples of these should I need more. So I've done that with that one. I've done that with this one. These are just printed on copy paper. So you can use the original collage sheets or the printed off collage sheets in the same way. So today I'm going to use them on this, and I'm going to use basically a collage sheet. So I could take, if I wanted to, I could take this background or this collage sheet and glue it into my art journal page and create that instant background. And I encourage you to do that because it shortens your creative playtime. Let's pretend that that's what I've done here. Instead of this being a background that's actually on the substrate, I glued one on. So I want to set up some focal images. And I did a while ago a fish one. So what I did is I've cut a couple templates of fish. And these fish are going to be on the page, something similar, and I want them to be kind of kissing fish. I saw a picture that inspired me, so I made myself template. This is just light tag board. So once I have these, they become tracers, and so I can trace out of any of my collage papers gel prints, and you can see that in fact that's what I have done here. I traced them out, and sometimes I experiment with the colors. So there's several gel prints, brayered papers, leftover paint, and collage prints. So I've traced that out, just putting that on, and usually I cut out more than one at a time, because sometimes I want to try and experiment with colors and see what's going to give me a good match. So now I'm just cutting it out. So, you know, I can do 2 or 3. So you're cutting once, right? And again, what I don't use, I can either make multiples, and I do that quite often. So now I can play with this fish. And I can decide, we have those two, and they have that little bit of aqua teal in them. So I'm, you know, looking in there, I can do that. I can have them looking different. The big fish. So I'm actually going to use both of those. And I knew these colors are going to go well together, because if you look at the color wheel, you will see that teal is right across from the orange. Those are complementary colors. They will look good together. Now remember, I'm going to shade these so they're going to stand out. But I like that there's a similarity there. So these will go into my stash, and I keep my templates in there. So now I'm going to just glue these down with my gel medium.
The rest of the video I am speeding up to double time because it's more routine activities. I am gluing these fish down with my gel medium, which is the matte finish, and I'm putting the gel medium underneath and on top. I'm just positioning them, and I'm not worried that the tails are going off the page. That actually makes your page more interesting. But I could have played with that however, and if I was doing several of these, I think these would make really cute cards, and you can use one collage paper as the background and then several different ones for the fish, and then put different sentiments or whatever and make very, very cute cards or fridge magnets or what have you. So I'm just gluing them down. Now I typed out the sentiment hook, line, and sinker. So this is like totally off prompt, totally just nothing. It's just I like the idea of the tropical fish and the bright colors, and I wanted to use my collage papers, my gel prints, and demonstrate that for you guys. So now I'm just tracing out or putting, you know, some images, some fins, some different things. And I'm using my Stabilo All pencil. If I make a mistake, I can erase it just with a baby wipe. And I was going to grab just my pit pan here, my regular one, and then I think, oh, I could grab my big brush marker. And that's what I use, but in the end, I'm wishing I had just stayed with my thin micron or pit pan. I grabbed the Posca pan, and I'm not sure why. Then I thought, oh, I'm definitely going to try the pit brush marker, but it gave too thick of a line. I didn't like that look. Now you might like that look, and then you do it. I wanted it to be bold enough to stand off out away from the pattern, which is why I chose to go thicker. So the eyeball I'm just painting out with white gesso. And this does take a couple coats, so I do stop and dry it in between to get more opaque coverage. I wanted it to be white, bright white. So I encourage you, if you've got gel prints or collage papers that you've made, have them close at hand. Pick out 5 or 10 and keep them close where you're creating, and keep looking at them and seeing how you can incorporate them on the pages that you have. You can collage focal image. You can cut out flowers, fish. I've done coffee cups, mittens. The sky's the limit. And if you can't draw like me, you can get clip art patterns that you can use the silhouette of. I'm just adding detail. So here I've just taken my regular pit marker and using it. So I decided to use my Uniball Signo white. Now I have not used this in not months, years. I was really surprised that it was even working at all. And you've just, if you, I think I show it, but it's kind of off camera. I'm rubbing this on my finger. You can see I've got the white lines on my finger. That kind of clears it and gets that ball rolling again. I'm trying to add some highlights or whatever, but this isn't something that I do often. So I need to build up skill. And the only way that's going to happen is if I actually do it. You can use your collage papers for Christmas trees, for Christmas ornaments. I've done lots of them, or Christmas balls. You're only limited by your imagination. So now I decide that I want to shade around the fish to merely make them stand out from the background. So I grab my angle brush, and of course the first one I grab is a cheapie. And I'm all for not necessarily buying the best quality if you don't have to. But with the angle brush for the float technique, I do recommend that you don't buy the dollar store angle brushes. They're just too soft and flimsy, and I am frustrated when I use it. So if you're just learning, it's going to definitely be more frustrating. I think I will put the name of what the angle brush that I have that I've used. It's not really expensive. I get it 50% off at Michael's. I think it's Royal and Langnickle, and it's 1/2 inch. And if I can find the link in Amazon, I will link to it. But if I can't find the exact one, I won't, because if I haven't used it, I can't guarantee that it is exactly like mine. But you don't want it to be too flimsy and long. And you can see the difference between the one that I've done and the one that I haven't done, the difference that the shading does. Now you can use other ways of shading. You can use your woodless charcoal pencil. You can use your Stabilo all pencil. And since this is the top layer and I'm not varnishing, nothing's going to reactivate it, short of, spilling water on it. And so using your gel prints, your collage papers, with the exception of this little bit of black paint that I'm using, that's it for bringing out paint. So it's a easy, quicker page, and cleanup is minimized as well. So now I'm having trouble getting this to work. And like I said, I have not used these at least in 2 years. But when I did do a lot of it in my art journals, I really liked using these Uniball Signo whites. That was my go-to white. I'm trying to add highlights with the white there. It's not I'm looking at it, it's not giving me the effect that I want to get. I'm shading around the sentiment, again, to make that stand out. If you don't like the look, skip that step. If you're practicing your floating acrylic technique, have acrylic paint on the page. Don't do it on a raw page because it will not work the same way and you'll get frustrated. And just do circles or just do squares. Do easy shapes as you build skill with that technique. Just adding some gills. I like how the fish really pop off the page. I like the patterning from the collage papers. Grab my black that's in my fine line bottle. I'm just going around the words. But you could do this with your micron pen. You can do this with your Stabilo. Then I decide I'm just going to outline the fish as well. Make it like there's a bit of a black line, just to make it stand out. And between that and the floating acrylic shading, it really does pop. So to those people in my group, grab your collage papers, find a template of a shape that you like, and use it as a background, use it as a focal point. If you want to preserve it and you think your background or collage sheet is too precious, take a picture of it, use the printed paper. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. Thanks so much for watching.